Hi, it's Karina Smith-Gadke, the Mayor of the Township of Leeds and the Thousand Islands, and this is the May Council update. So last evening, we began our meeting at 6:30 p.m. and played the national anthem and adopted our agenda. We began our meeting with an in-camera session, which was specific to technology and cyber issues that was discussed in camera, and we reported out that the council received an update in regards to our technology needs and what may be coming down the pipe. Next items were the consent agenda, which was adoption of and receipt of minutes for the council in April, committee of the whole in May, the Public and Planning Act meeting minutes, as well as the committee of adjustment. As far as staff reports, there were 5 staff reports. 4 staff reports, one for the audited financial statements, and I'm very pleased to report that we were in a surplus for the 2022 budget year in around the $79,000 mark. We also had an operations report for Lansdowne growth and infrastructure upgrades. This is in regards to the requirement to ensure that we have enough water going forward for any future expansions here in Lansdowne. So there's something called a hydrogeological study that will need to be completed in order to ensure we have sufficient water for any expansions in the future. We also provided a letter of support to Lansdowne Telephone for broadband funding, and that should be going forward with an application to the CRTC for them to expand fiber cable for high-speed internet throughout the Township of Leeds and the Thousand Islands. Number 9 on the agenda is information items, and there was a letter from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing Action Supply Plan, as well as the annual reports for the Cataraqui Region Conservation Authority and the audited financial statements. As well, the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation sent out their annual report, and they are the ones that set property values here in the province that your tax rate is then applied to, and that's how we come up with your tax bill. There was also a corporate services report in regards to communications update and what is going on as far as how we communicate throughout the municipality. We also sought approval for a no parking area in front of the musical retirement residence in Sealy's Bay, 138 County Road 47 Main Street in Sealy's Bay. And this is to ensure that our fire services, in the event, God forbid, there were ever a fire call at that retirement residence, that they have access to the water that they need in order to fight any fire there. So it will become a no parking zone once it is passed at the county. We also received a Training Center 2022 year-end review, and we discussed the fact that we've definitely increased the revenues for the Training Center. However, we do still deal with a deficit at this point, but we looked into the additional costs that it would have we would have incurred if we sent our people out to other training facilities and away from home, and the costs associated with hotels, food, and hard to quantify with the time away from family, and it was very close to almost the exact amount that we had for a deficit for the training center. So it's something to keep in mind going forward. We do have to meet minimum standards, I believe, by 2025 with the Ontario Fire Marshal, that all firefighters have a certain base level of training, and then any additional training they want for specialization. We also received a donation from the Lyndhurst Rejuvenation Committee for the Lyndhurst Wetland Viewing Platform, and this is very important. We want to say thank you to that group specifically for raising those funds and then donating them to the township for us to execute a wetland viewing platform. We are in talks with Cataraqui Region Conservation Authority and Building Department to look forward to getting quotes to have this project hopefully accomplished prior to the end of 2023. Next on the agenda was action required items, and we had our community grants spring intake, and we had a wonderful group of individuals and groups who came forward looking for funds to support community events, community programs, community services, and we awarded an amount of $62,125 to a number of individuals, a number of groups. So there was Frontenac Archbiosphere, the Lansdowne Agricultural Society, Gananoque Canoe Club, the Sabara. It's distributed between, I can't remember the full amount of people or the full amount of groups that got donations, but there was quite a few that was spread over. We also gave grant through the 2023 Cemetery Grant Program, and that amount was $14,025.07. This is important because there are a number of cemeteries throughout the municipality that are starting to go somewhat by the wayside due to inactivity of boards, inability to find service providers to keep the grounds, or just a lack of funding with those particular cemeteries. So we put a cemetery grant program in place. Unless a cemetery is turned over to a municipality, in which case then we're obligated to take care of it. It is the obligation of the cemetery board of the respective cemeteries to ensure that they are in good grass cut condition. So if you have any questions about that, I would contact any respective cemetery board. But we were happy to help out with certain cemeteries who applied for $14,025.07. So we did appoint an alternate member to the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville in the event that I cannot attend county meetings, and that is Councillor Jeff Lackey. We also changed zoning for 450 Lyndhurst Road, and this particular property was zoned commercial, even though it has only been used for residential purposes for a number of decades. And if anybody knows the difference between a commercial tax rate and a residential tax rate, it does have a big difference. But they requested a removal of the commercial designation on the property, and that was approved. We also approved a request to permit access across a township road allowance in concession 9 between lots 12 and 13, 221 LaRose Bay Road, and that individual will be able to cross that road allowance in order to access their property, and that was approved. We awarded a Heritage Celebration Grant for 1113 Prince Street, Lansdowne, Ontario, and that was in the amount of $2,500, and that will go towards heritage upgrades to the property. So thank you for that application, and we are always very pleased to see heritage buildings being cared for and upgraded. We also made small change amendments to the Heritage Celebration Grant policy as presented. This will basically make the most important change was that the grants will only be awarded to the same, if the same person or group were to apply for the grant, it can only happen once every 2 years rather than every year. We also reallocated funds in the Municipal Heritage Committee operating budget to allow for the funds that were intended for consultants to be used for training and education for a member of the Municipal Heritage Committee to go to the Ontario Heritage Conference in London for 2023. And the next item was Council was to direct staff to prepare and submit a letter to the Government of Ontario through the Environmental Registry of Ontario's website indicating its concerns, being requested to comment on the proposed provincial policy statement changes by June 6th. In the absence of any information on the proposed policy amendments to the Natural Heritage Resource Protection and noting concerns with respect to the potential negative impacts as a result of the proposed lot creation policies on prime agricultural lands. So this is in regards to the provincial policy statement and Bill 97. This was discussed at length last night at the council meeting, and our planning staff will be responding to the province with their concerns about being able to sever lands off prime agricultural designated property, but also there is an absence of natural heritage resource protection, and we have some concerns about that as well. Moving along in the operations report, the Escott Sand Dome has been approved to be dismantled, and we will be disposing of the Escott Sand Dome located at 1369 County Road 2. This is mainly due to a structural issue. It is no longer viable, and it's a safety concern, so it will have to be taken down. We also approved an operations report regarding resurfacing of flooring, and Council approved the award of a tender OPS 2023-018 to repair and resurface flooring at various township facilities to interior concrete coatings in the amount of $99,271.96. We also awarded the tender for the rehabilitation of the Ivy Lee Small Craft Wharf, and the motion was that Council approve the award of tender OPS 2023-016 for the rehabilitation of the Ivy Lee Small Craft Wharf to Kehoe Marine Construction in the amount of $2,216,011.85, and that's inclusive of the net HST. There was a competitive process. There were 2 bidders, and it was the lowest bid. We then went on to approve a new tandem dump truck complete with snowplow and sander, and this particular report was a wake-up call, if you will. We authorized staff to award the tender for the tandem dump truck complete with snowplow and sander to IB Schmidt Canada Inc. in the amount of $428,790.08. This is important because 2 years ago we bought the same tandem truck for the amount of $305,000. So when we talk about the costs of doing business here in the municipality to provide services, this is just one indication of how things are more and more expensive. We realize that it is in everybody's household as well, but when it comes to buying any of these larger pieces of machinery, we're really feeling the pressure. We also awarded janitorial services for municipal facilities for 2-year term, and that was awarded to Riverstone Janitorial Service and Sales in the amount of $30,426.24, inclusive of the net HST. We also awarded a supply and delivery of 1 wheel loader, and that was in the amount of $243,866.07, and that went to Hartington Equipment. We also debated in regard to marine facilities. There was a motion that was brought forward by Councillor Lackey, and the motion that came forward was to direct staff to initiate a zoning bylaw amendment application, including a statutory public meeting to amend the definition and zoning provisions with respect to marine facilities in zoning bylaw number 07-079 to permit rooftop outdoor amenity areas and to eliminate the regulations regarding the straight line projection of a side lot line and maximum length. This particular motion was actually removed and withdrawn, I should say. And when it was withdrawn, I believe that the planner, along with Councillor Lackey, will be going back to find a different way to review our marine facilities and the policies associated with that in a more wholesome view, rather than just 1 or 2 different things pertaining to marine facility bylaw. Then we approved the tenders, the bylaws in place, the tax rate bylaw, zoning bylaw for 450 Lyndhurst Lane, the appointment of an alternate member to the United Counties, and the change in the Heritage Conservation Celebration Grant Policy and the confirmatory bylaw. I just wanted to give a little bit of a mayor's update. This week is Emergency Preparedness Week, and this year's the theme is to be prepared and know your risks. So please take time to review your emergency plans in your own family, in your own home. Make sure your smoke alarms are working. Make sure you have water, food, candles, any of those things that you might need if there was a power outage, flooding, anything to that effect. Also, this is Nurses Week, and nurses leverage their skills, ability, and judgment to advocate and promote health in countless ways and in all sectors in our community. So we'd just like to send thanks out to all of those who work in healthcare, but specifically nurses who work very hard to keep us healthy and get us home when we ever have to go to hospital. Mother's Day is celebrated on May 14th. Please visit our community events calendar on our website for any May Mother's Day events, including Mother's Day brunch and more. May long weekend is quickly approaching. Make sure to check out our 7-day use parks and splash pad that are scheduled to open on May 19th. We also will have a Touch a Truck event here at the Township again on May 25th, and that will be from 2 p.m. in the afternoon till 6 p.m. And make sure to bring a food item for a donation to the local food bank. It's a really great event where kids can come and climb and be part of a very large equipment, which they may not have otherwise an opportunity to sit in or experience. And the staff here in Public Works work really hard to get all the machinery ready and available for people to climb up in and take them through all the buttons and the levers and what have you. So it's a really great day and we really look forward to it. We also wanted to let you know that there are upcoming events happening in June and July. July 1st, there will be Canada Day celebrations in Sealy's Bay. As well, the Lansdowne Fair is happening the third week of July, and I believe it's the 21st is the first day of the fair. Anyways, that's it for the council update for May, and we'll see you back here in June.